Good morning on this Sunday, the 29th of January. This is your 28storms.com cyclone update on Iggy. The latest forecast from the U.S. Joint Typhoon Warning Center continues to take Iggy on a more southwest track away from Western Australia, and the confidence in this scenario is actually increasing over the past 24 to 36 hours, as it looks as though it has missed the first trough that would have given the system a better chance of striking Western Australia. The model consensus has also come more in line with this overall idea. Thus, the Bureau of Meteorology has also adjusted their track accordingly to the southwest. Iggy is still struggling somewhat due to some easterly wind shear, but there are some very slow indications that the storm is getting its act together. We see a little bit less restriction in the southern and southeastern quadrants of the cyclone, and on the latest infrared we are seeing a return of some very significant convection, and it looks like it's closing in near the center. The latest regional water vapor animation shows not only our cyclone to the northwest of Coral Bay, but also a rather amplified trough approaching Perth, Australia, and this was the trough that could have induced more of a southeasterly motion, but instead that trough is beginning to bypass the cyclone, thus the reason why the cyclone is not moving at a very significant speed off toward the southeast. And once this trough continues to move more toward New South Wales, we will see at least a temporary return of some modest ridging over Western Australia, which should deflect the cyclone more toward the southwest and out to sea. The following is the latest forecast from the ECMWF. Now keep in mind, in prior model runs the ECMWF was showing a landfall, but as you will soon see, this model is now in better agreement with the GFS, which has been keeping the center of the cyclone just offshore. And we can see why as we go into 24 hours. The trough is continuing to advance off toward the east, leaving the cyclone behind with very little steering for the next 24 to 72 hours. But as we go into day 2 and day 3, and especially by day 4, the cyclone is now left to move a little bit more toward the south, as we do see a modest return of ridging across Western Australia. And it's not until days 4 and especially day 5 that we begin to see a second trough come into the picture. So therefore there is an outside possibility that portions near and just to the north of Perth could be dealing with some more shower activity and possibly some gusty conditions in the medium range. But luckily this cyclone will significantly weaken as it moves over much cooler water temperatures and stronger vertical wind shear as it moves more toward the south. Meanwhile, the intensity forecast is a bit more problematic, but the cyclone is moving closer to the axis of upper level ridging, which is quite favorable. But as the storm begins to move more toward the south, as noted before, it's going to run into much cooler water temperatures off the coast of Western Australia. So just to summarize, the threat to all areas, including Karratha westward, the threat has actually decreased somewhat here over the past day or so, but interests there are still advised to keep up with the latest official updates from the Bureau of Meteorology. And down the road, some areas, including Geraldton, may have a greater chance of some shower and gusty wind activity. In the medium range, we may also begin to look more at the Gulf and Coral Sea for any signs of tropical cyclone development, but for right now, the conditions are relatively quiet out there, and no tropical development is expected for at least the next 3 to 4 days. So thank you for tuning in to today's video, and don't forget to check out 28storms.com/cyclone for more cyclone-related information.